What's going on, guys? Venatix here. Welcome back to the channel. Warhammer 40k Darktide was supposed to have an update today, but it's been delayed. It's been postponed until tomorrow, December 15th. At least that's what they're hoping for. That's the plan. That's the goal. Now, what about that is we saw them. They were readying the patch. They just weren't ready for it yet because they ran into some technical issues, so they had to push it back just a little bit. You know what? And that's okay. It happens. Hopefully the rollout for tomorrow works flawlessly, but you never know how it is over at Slim Shark. But let's talk about this. They posted a community update, which goes over some future stuff that we're going to see, as well as the patch notes for the patch tomorrow. It's going to be epic. To start things off, they talk about stability, as well as some of the crashes and fixes that they're working on. They talk about the premium shop, as well as some of the actual new content coming, the new weapons, new mission types, as well as a new map. And then they actually talk about what some crazy things and some fine tuning when it comes to the weapons. So let's talk about that right now. Let's jump into the patch notes. So stability-wise, they say it's their first and foremost priority. So they are currently actively investigating GPU-related crashes, penance not working properly, players receiving error codes 4008 and 2007, problems with Twitch drops, and players reporting that no rewards progression are given. Now, currently fixing, contracts do not progress for some players, various penance working differently than expected, server crash kicking players error code 2001, and stuck in queue position 1. So those are the main fixes that they addressed here. Now they jump in and talk about the Aquila shop, the premium shop. They said that they will be adding a 1-to-1 pack for a 2400 Aquila bundle, as well as removing the timer. As you guys saw last week, there used to be a timer for FOMO, has now been removed, or has been removed, but they do now have a 24-hour clock that will show up before they switch out the shop. Now let's talk about the new stuff here. So they have a brand new map, 2 new weapons, one for the Zealot and one for the Ogre, and they have a new refine option for the crafting menu and the inclusion of private games and the addition of 3 new conditions. First up, we have the in-comms flex 154/2F. It's up to you and your strike team to gain access to the comms flex, get to the roof of the HL 1924 Archivum, and transmit a message to your allies in the Imperium. That's the new map. To support the launch of the new map, we will enable several conditions during the mission over the next few days, which are hunting grounds. Rejects will have to fend off increased number of poxhounds, assault, more ammo, less healing, more enemies, prepare to run, and high intensity engagement zone, high enemy concentration in the mission zone, along with a higher proportion of specialists. Isn't that something that already exists? I'm not sure if that's considered new or not, or maybe the wording is slightly different than before. Not exactly sure. But they also talk about private play, which allows you to have 2 to 4 players privately. There is no solo play yet, but that is apparently something they are working on and may come in the near future or far enough away. Who really knows? And then the crafting system, they're going to have refine. It's going to be available. It's going to allow you to choose a single perk, which then locks the other perks and allows you to change them. And there's going to be a new tier system to those perks with like a little red diamond next to them, ranging from 1 to 4. Now, into the actual thick of the patch notes here. Now, guys, there are a ton. We're going to try to just cover ones that seem important. And of course, sometimes some things are more important to me than to you and vice versa. So link in the description down below for the patch notes so you can go through this on your own. But basically, again, they added the 2400 Aquila's pack. They had the option so that you can actually use the in-game chat during the cutscene at the end of the loading screen, which is nice because before you couldn't. They also worked on some more performance and stability. They fixed several cases which generates GPU crashes. Fixed a bug where clients would get mismatching player loadouts. Fixed a bug with fired projectiles visual effects. Fix an issue that could cause a client crash, and fix various and numerous unspecified crashes. So again, performance and stability seems to be heading in the right direction. Hopefully things are better tomorrow with the patch. As for contracts and penance, it looks like they are working some things, especially the pick and mix one, as well as others where the progress is being lost when the mission completes at the end of the round, aka something that's been plaguing us for a while now. Progress on contracts just not working. Now let's talk about the weapons here, guys. This list for the weapons is huge. They got nerfs, they got buffs, they got fixes, tweaks, etc. There are a ton. I'm going to try to cover the big ones. There's so many here to take way too long. But let's talk about an important one here. They talk about the power sword. They tuned down the cleave. Apparently on the powered attacks, it was infinite. So now they've actually lowered that down to a very big cleave nonetheless, but just not quite as big. It says around 10 enemies. And then I added a damage fall off for targets beyond the 3rd on heavy activated sweep. Scales from 130 to 260 at targets 1, 2, and 3. Down towards 50 to 100 at target 8+. So again, a little confusing with just listening to me, but if you read it and or try out the new power sword with the new update tomorrow, it'd probably make way more sense. They also updated or changed the bolt gun a little bit. They added an equip variation and reworked original equip to make the equip animations less repetitive and frustrating, aka pulling it out is going to look different at least a couple different times and or stuff like that. They also fixed an issue with snapping after unaiming while shooting, and they fixed an exploit where weapon swapping at the right time would result in a much faster reload. Now that was for the bolt gun. Now they talk about the Lucius pattern las guns. Hopefully I said that right. They tuned the charging visual effect to unblock view of the shot. They pushed the ADS FOV to 65 to clean up sight a bit. They increased time until forced shot across all marks from 1 second to 2.5 seconds. And then they decreased the ammo consumption on a fully charged shot. So the Mark 1 and Mark 2 and Mark 3 were addressed here. So from 9 to 6, 6 to 4, and 12 to 9, the amount of ammo consumed. So that is a buff there. And they reduced the charge time ranges until fully charged. So Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3, they got 1 second to half a second down to 0.8 to 0.4. And then, again, it just kind of goes down from there. But basically, it's been buffed for the charge time. They've been reduced. They've also reduced the chain time for the Mark 3 bayonet slash from half a second to 0.3, like a normal melee sweep. They've increased the damage versus armored and resistance on low charge near far from 40% to 50% and 50% to 60%. So basically a 10% bump there. And they've increased the minimum charge scaler for Mark II charge shot from 30% power to 40% power. They've also reduced the suppression sway and reduced the baseline sway overall. So it looks like Lucius, if that's right, las guns seem to have gotten a minor buff here. Maybe major buff, depending on how you look at it. Now, they also tweaked the M35 Magnacore MK2, or sorry, the Mark II plasma gun, increased the clip size range to 75 to 150 from 60 to 100. Still one clip in reserve with matching adjustments. They improved vent durations. Both active venting is now 3 seconds, down from 4 seconds, and passive venting now 15 seconds, down from 20 seconds. AK plasma gun is getting buff. Timescales of venting are now low 80%, high 50%, critical 25%, etc. They retuned the vent damage to a player, and they allowed heavy charging shots to continue after shooting through geometry. Entry and exit both create explosions. Ah, interesting. I wonder if that means, if you saw my video before, that you can shoot through walls. Oh, I'm trying to understand, can you shoot through walls consistently? Entry and exit both create explosions. Interesting. We'll have to test that out. That's pretty cool. Now, they talk a little bit about the quick draw stub revolver. They increased the ammo reserve, increased the far range, and they increased the high end of base damage from 200 to 400 instead of 200 to 350. So a 50 damage buff there. And then they increased the hit scan range to fix issues where no hits would be detected at very long ranges. Now for the, is this VRAX, Mark 3 and Mark 7, and the, I'm not even going to pronounce that, the Mark 3 Headhunter auto guns. They reduced the recoil vertical rise on all Headhunter auto guns, and they increased the damage. Looks like the damage has gone up about 10 to 20 each gun. No, not even that. The VRAX Mark 7 has gone up 40 damage. Wow, 20 to 40 damage, as well as the Agrippina. I don't want to say this. From 75 150 to 90 to 180. So actually increased, actually pretty big chunks of damage increased there. Wow, Headhunter auto guns may be the go-to if they weren't already. I felt like I was using them at least a little bit, but maybe now look into them even more. Now for the Tigris Mark II Heavy Eviscerator, they increased the baseline damage versus armor and flak armor from 30 to 50 and infested from 75 to 100% on light attack. So Eviscerator getting a buff. Wow. They increased the baseline impact against armor, they increased the horizontal light attack damage, and the diagonal light attack damage, basically increasing both of those by 20, 10 to 20 damage each one. Wow. Okay, and now the Thunderhammer. Here we go. Anything good here? Increased the light attack baseline armor mod from 75 to 90% and carapace armor from 1% to 25%. And they increased the heavy attack baseline armor mod versus flak armor from 75 to 90 and carapace from 20 to 25. So Thunderhammer doing great against armor, I guess. Still wish the special did a little bit of an AoE shock, explosion, something to just make it feel beefier. Unfortunately, as much as I love the Thunderhammer, especially while using the Zealot ability, it just isn't my go-to at the moment. Now, they fixed a couple other bugs here. It doesn't look like anything important there. Now, they talk about combat. They fixed an issue where the Zealot Preacher's ability Chastise the Wicked could get interrupted if used while having been pushed by enemy attacks. They also fixed an issue with the Psykinetics Inner Tranquility talent, causing slower quell speeds. They fixed an issue where Zealot Preacher would dash through enemies if they were too close, and fixed an issue where some pickups could not be interacted with due to being inside collision. As for some enemies, they fixed some issues where the Poxhound could launch into the stratosphere, but that was an awesome feature because screw those Poxhounds. As for missions, it looks like they changed a lot of things here. Fixed some scriptures, locations, some spawns of the demon host. Fixed a spot where players could get stuck. fix a railing, fix an issue where one of the Grimnars cannot be collected, fix an NPC shooting without a gun on the prologue. Just minor things here, probably not too big, not going to go into detail on those, as well as the special effects, visual effects, and animations. There's a good list here as well. Just going to kind of skip through that, but it looks like the Auspex scan targets should no longer remain outlined after completing a scan. So I guess that's nice. Looks like some ragdoll fixes, as well as some bugs here with the wrong start animation. Now, character customization, they fixed some various issues with cosmetics, clippings, etc. Resolved an issue where selecting the blind eye option would remove the information about the Cadia homeworld restriction during the character creation scene or screens. Interesting. They also said they fixed an issue with the Ogren mustache that only appeared during cutscenes or when observed when kissing distance. Note, do not kiss the Ogren. And last but not least, they have like the UI user interface here. Added texture quality settings back to the settings menu. Added a mesh quality line of distance slider to the settings menu. Fixed the bug with the control stat. They now display the cosmetic weapon skin and clothes as owned when viewing them in the armory exchange. Hey, that's nice. I thought that was kind of silly that it wasn't there. And then weapon traits that require multiple hits now have a clearer description. Well, like I said, huge patch note coming out tomorrow, December 15th. Let me know what you guys are looking forward to the most, and or the fact if you made it all the way to the end of this video, because it was kind of lengthy, kind of long. Hope you guys appreciate this type of stuff, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.